Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Merlin here. And today we're going to be discussing the recent changes to the companion card as well as a couple of changes to a few of the formats. So, first off, we're going to be addressing the companion rule changes. Now, normally my videos would be about just deck tech or certain cards I'm highlighting. But we're going to be doing something different, and we're going to start covering more recent changes as they come to each set. So, first off the bat, companion rule changes. Whereas it used to be that you could play a companion from anywhere outside the game, as long as it was like in your sideboard, as long as it was in the deck some way, shape, or form, you could play it by paying its mana cost. Now, you pay 3 colorless mana, so you can spend any mana to do this, and it adds it from the deck to your hand so that you can then use it. In the case of my companion, and this, yes, my companion is Kira. So, that means that in order to cast her, see, she's right here, and she now, instead of showing her mana cost, it shows a colorless 3. I now have to pay 3 mana to cast, well, not to cast her, but to add her to my hand. Once that's done, I could pay her normal mana cost to add her to my hand, or to play her, and be done with it. Her effect still stays the same. They have not modified any of their actual abilities. It's just how you get to them that they have changed. The other thing that they have done is they have now taken 2 cards that I've seen a lot of overuse on in every format. Historic, standard. Even in drafts, these cards, if they are drawn, are overused to a fault. And that's the Fires of Invention and Agent of Treachery. Now, there is a thing with the Agent of Treachery. When he enters play, you may take control of a permanent your opponent controls. I believe it's a non-land permanent. But, now with that card gone, a lot of blue decks that would rely on bouncing him with Thassa, bouncing Sphinxes, all that shit. That shit is gone. Then there's the Fires of Invention. Now, the Fires of Invention, give me just a second, guys. Let's see, we're going to swing out here. The Fires of Invention. You can cast spells only during your turn, and you can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast spells with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control without paying the mana cost. Now, this is broken. It is beyond broken. If I was playing white-red, and I used Fires of Invention, I could throw my Banishing Light without having to pay its mana cost. I mean, all in all, I can count quite a few ways this card could just be overused, like Slaying Fire, or Skewer the Critics. Burn spells, just burn spells, period, would be broken as shit. So, with that being said, those cards are now just persona non grata. Can't be played, can't be used, none of that shit. The next thing they've done, they've taken these, now they've also banned these things from Historic, Standard, and any player, as in the past, if you had a card that they banned, they would give you however many cards they've banned. They would take those cards and say, okay, well, say you had a play set of each, and they got rid of, I want to say, Say they got rid of 10 cards. Not likely, but say they did. And you had a playset of each. Then you would get 40 rare wild cards. That's their way of kind of saying, hey, we realize we're taking cards away from you that you have. We're not technically taking them away. We're just making it so that you can't use them in standard, historic, drafts, anything of that nature. Then they're also fixing the packs so that players would pull them very little. You know, you're not going to pull them as often as you did. Now, after June 4th, players will only receive copies of these cards if they have collected a playset of every other standard legal rare card available in that booster. So let's take Eldraine. If you got every other rare and you've gotten, you know, if you've gotten a playset of every rare and every, you know, everything available to you, then you'll probably pull one if you don't have one. Now, if you were participating in, say, traditional standard, traditional historic, standard events, and or historic events using a deck that included the above-mentioned cards, then you will still be able to compete in that event because the deck is registered as is. It can't be modified, can't be changed. But your deck will be flagged as invalid. But don't worry, you won't catch a ban hammer for it. You won't get, say, nailed for it. You'll just, you know, your opponent will know, hey, this deck has shit in it that you might want to watch out for. You'll know. But once that event's over, you'll have to go back in. If you want to continue to use that deck, you're going to have to modify the deck. You'll obviously have to take out the playsets of Agent of Treachery, your playsets of Fires of Invention. Take all that shit out. Now, if you choose to queue up for standard or historic matches, these are the bans are in effect. You know, they're going. So you can no longer queue for historic, standard with these cards in that deck. Like, let's say I had 4, you know, I go to queue up for that deck or queue up for an event. Yeah, it's not going to let you. It's basically going to, no. And tell you to, you know, right then, off the top, you know, no, you're not getting in. And that is basically this update in a nutshell. Now, as you saw, it really doesn't affect the change to companion animals is meant to really just kind of slow companion decks down. Because they've gotten a little broken. Oh, all I gotta do is, you know, pay X mana and I get the red-black piercer out. You know, he's out, his effect is active. I'm gonna burn you to the face for, instead of doing 3 damage, I now do 6 damage. Eat it to the face. It's basically their way of kind of nerfing a card type that they kind of are now seeing that, wait, maybe this wasn't the best plan of attack to introduce this. But it's there. You can't do anything about it. You can't really say, well, we're just going to take the cards out, period. Unless they, you know, down the road do choose to banhammer them. But for now, their best plan of attack was to make you have to work a little bit more for them. So now you pay the 3 mana, or, yeah, you pay 3 mana straight across the board. Doesn't matter what their mana cost is. You get that 3 colorless, and it goes into your hand. And that is across all the companions. So if they cost, like Orion, the Sky Nomad, costs 5, you don't have to pay the 5 yet. Just pay the 3, you get them. And then you have to pay the 5 to drop them. This will also slow down the Lurrus decks, which, let's be honest, everybody, they're running rampant. Anything that, you know, slows those decks down, I'm game for. Because your opponent will see if you say, pay the mana to add it to your hand. They're going to know. They're going to know what you just added. So then that's going to give them time to say, okay, if you're facing a blue control deck, well, I'm going to hold on to my counter spells to blast that card as soon as it comes into play. But as you saw with my mono white deck, let's go into it. And for those of you that are interested, I do have it posted on my Aether Hub page. It's already got 200 and some odd views, 32 downloads. And for those of you that like this video, hit that sub button, join the community, come follow me on Aether Hub. We're going by leaps and bounds every day. But as I was saying, let's get this rearranged here. With my deck, I want to say it really didn't affect me. Granted, yeah, I have to pay that extra 3 mana, and granted, that's a pain, but with my deck, Kahira is just icing on the cake. If I can get my 4 Charm Strays out, yeah. Somehow I'm going to end up with either a 4/4 cat and a couple of 3/3s or what have you. I mean, between the Johnny's, Pride Mates, the Pouncing Lynxes, and all my little hat tricks like Will of the All Hunter and Moment of Heroism or Swallow Whole, all of those things just, make it so my deck is offensive, but it's able to do so with such a cheap mana cost. As you see, I peak out at 2. So if I get to the point to where I have all of these cats out and I drop my Icon of Ancestry, I really don't need Kahira. The only thing I'm getting off from Kahira at that point is an extra +1/+1, and it's giving my cats Vigilance. That's really all he's there for, is the bonus and the Vigilance. Other than that, the deck pretty much runs itself. Between the Cub Wardens, which I'm going to actually be throwing in 2 more, because I want to see him more. I might also kind of finish out my Icon of Ancestry playset. Maybe here, anyways. But as always, guys, I want to thank you guys for dropping in. And as always, if you like the channel, smash that sub button. Hit the bell to be notified when I upload my next video. Give me a shout out in the comment section of how you feel about the Banhammer being dropped on Agent of Treachery and Fires of Invention. Help me we've gotten to about 150 views within the first day or so. Let's double that, guys. We can do it. Let's hit 300. Let's keep the love flowing for the videos. And I will see you guys next time.